What you're looking at right now is not my digital SLR. My digital SLR is actually up here. So what on earth are we looking at? Because this is the camera that you want to take with you when you're at a gig, or you can actually set it into certain places, which I've been doing on my live streams for the past couple of weeks. And this is the reason why. Yeah, it follows you, and it follows you no matter where you go. And it's not a webcam, and it's not a digital SLR. This is the brand new Obsbot Tail Air. It's an AI-powered 4K PTZ streaming camera. This is a camera that has some amazing tricks up its sleeve, and OBS have very kindly sent me a pre-production model to play with, but also to show you guys. Now currently, as it's a pre-production, it's running on Android, so I've got an Android tablet here running the app. It is going to be available on iOS as well, but you have to think of this camera as something really different, because not only can it actually do what we're doing right now, which is I'm actually recording in just a quick time on my Mac, I can record directly to the camera because it has an SD card slot and it has an internal battery. So I could just take the camera and a tripod and start recording content straight away. So you could elevate your live stream as moving around, and then you don't have to change anything, it just follows you. Or if you're doing a live show, then you could have maybe one or even two or three of these all connected at different points, pointing at the different artists, and you could record the entire show, or you could live stream it and control that all through the app, which I'll show you in a minute. As musicians, we're now content creators. We can't just play music, you need to do video. Whether that's on Twitch, whether that's on YouTube, on Facebook, or even just your own website to promote yourself for gigs. Now you can use your phone, or if you want to up it, you could buy a digital SLR, but to really upgrade the content, getting something like this is an absolute game changer. And I'm going to show you why. First of all, let's talk about AI auto tracking. So right now, if you have a look at the app very closely, you can see there is a green box around my face, and that's because what I did is I put my hand up like this, and then it's going to stop tracking. There's now no tracking, so if I move out the way, it's going to stay exactly where I've told it to. If I put my hand up again, it'll flash, and then what happens is it starts tracking me, and it's incredibly amazing at tracking. Their AI tracking algorithm is fantastic. So much so that I even tried to fool it in a different video, and I couldn't, it just carried on tracking me. Now the AI capabilities in this camera can track humans, it can track animals, it can even track an object if you tell it to. It has an exceptionally long tracking range, can stay tracking in low light, and even track the subject if it encounters obstacles. The other thing as well is it's really smooth, and it can track really quickly, and you can adjust how quick or smooth that does that in the app. Talking of the app, you've actually got a thing called AI director grids. So let me show you this now. If I tap this square here at the top, you can actually see the grid. And I've actually got a couple of positions preset for my live streams when I'm actually standing over there, which are P1, P2, and P3. So on P3, my head looks really big because actually I'm all the way over there. You've also got close up, half body or full body. This shows you what's on air. You've got wide and auto. Now the great thing is you can set this camera up and then you can walk away and actually control it without even using the app. So there's a couple of gestures, and I've shown you the first one, which is actually just putting your hand up. So if I put my hand up, there's a light underneath the camera. So when it's blue, it's tracking me, and when it's green, it's static. So this is to lock or unlock a target. So there we go, you see it move there. And now as I move, it moves with me. The other thing I can do as well is create an L. And when we do that, it's gonna start zooming in. Hello. That's really close. Let's zoom out by doing that as well. It doesn't matter which hand you use, you can use either and it figures it out. The third one is making an OK sign. And when you make an OK sign, it starts recording. You may have noticed I did that really quickly because I don't want it to stop recording. But you can start and stop recording by making an OK sign like that. Now all of that is gesture based and you can control it really well. So imagine you're out in the field, you're at a gig, you're filming a music video and you've put this on a tripod somewhere, and then you just do OK and zoom in and track me and it'll work. With the SD card that's directly in, of course, it will record at 4K quality. And then of course you can just grab the footage from the SD card to start editing.
Okay, so this is a test. I'm about 2 meters away. We're not tracking at the moment, so let's do that. We're outside, there's a school not far from me. There's someone mowing a lawn. It's quite windy just in our garden. So just moving around. Imagine you're on stage playing guitar. Yeah, we're zoomed in, but then we're going to do this. And we're going to zoom out. Yeah, it's still tracking me. And then we can move around, tracking the whole body. So of course I can move up and down. I can move around this way really quickly. Let's go over here. Let's try and fool it. It's not happening. Wow. It's pretty good.
Now, if that's not enough for you, let's talk about expandability and connectivity, because this camera is insane. Starting with the USB-C, and that's how I've got it right now. I've got it in what's called kind of webcam mode, which is UVC mode. So it actually just sends the signal out via USB-C to whatever you've got plugged in. So I've got it plugged into my Mac, it picks it up as a camera. That's it. But with the USB-C, you can send that to a switcher or an encoder monitor or a TV. There's also micro HDMI on board. So of course, with all of that, you can also send it to a monitor. One of the accessories they sell is this, and this is a USB-C to Ethernet connection. So of course, I can plug this into the back of the camera, and then I've got Ethernet, and I could plug this into a router. So with that involved, then it becomes, as it's called, a PTZ camera. What that means is we can plug it directly into a Ethernet connection, and you have full-blown NDI support. If you don't know what NDI is, it's actually a protocol. So you can actually get high quality images and audio with really low latency live streaming via both Wi-Fi and Ethernet. That's the other thing. It's got Wi-Fi built in, and that's how I'm actually connected to the app right now. So this is connected by USB-C to my computer, but it's also connected by 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi to the app, which is on the Android device. Now with the NDI part of it, you do need an NDI license, which is sold separately. But if you don't want to go down the NDI route, then what you can do, of course, is connect this, like I said, to the app, and then from the app, you can actually then send out to live streaming. So you could send it out to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, ReStream, or an RTMP link. Now don't forget, you've also got the SD card, so you can plug into the SD card and then start recording directly to the SD card as well. And there's a built-in microphone, which we'll switch over to now.
1, 2, 3, this is me testing the microphone. Hello, hello, hello.
But it also has a 3.5mm jack input. So you could plug it in like a wireless microphone or a microphone with a 3.5mm port. And finally, there is Bluetooth on board. So Obsbot sell another accessory, which is their smart remote controller. So you can actually control the camera with a remote control, and that's done by Bluetooth. Inside the lens itself, there's 8 pieces of prime lens, recording at a full 4K resolution, and has an increased pixel size for low light recording as well. With that 1.8f aperture, it can let more light in, resulting in really good low light recording, less picture noise, and a finer image. Now moving over to the app that I've got connected, we've actually got this picture here. If I go right to the very beginning, I'm just going to exit the camera, but it is still recording on here, hopefully. Yes, we are still recording. So the app itself is OBS Start, and what you need to do is obviously pair it up, and you need an Obsbot account. Once you're actually logged in, it'll find it, and it can find it in a couple of different ways. It depends obviously what you've got. So right now I've got it connected to my broadband, so it's connected up no problem. So we go camera, it's loading the resources, and hey presto, there it is. Now this is all done in the landscape format. Top right hand corner, we've got a preview, and we've also got the audio coming in from the microphones. There's 2 microphones, so it's stereo. Now as I said to you before, I've got it in a completely different mode. I've got it in UVC mode. That's basically outputting out to as a webcam, so you can actually record things on a different one. So if I just give myself a tap, it'll actually focus on me, and right now it's actually tracking me at the same time, so I can move around. Now this will work if it's on battery power, it will work if it's plugged in and charging, no problem at all. So here you can see that's the home, that's where we've just been. We've got the outer red marker, and that basically just shows us what it's actually looking at. And then we go to here, this is our director, so we've actually got multiple ways of looking through this. So we can obviously go to P2 and it'll move over, and that's where I'm live streaming. That's actually where I've got it programmed up. And then P1 is actually showing the whole thing. I'm sitting slightly off to one side at the moment. So in order to get it back the way I want, if I just do that, there we go. And now it's tracking me. Now, let's just say I actually want to say, well, that's the P1. That's what I want it to be. So I can hold these P1, P2, P3s down. If I hold it down, I can say update that to be P1. So now, if we go into here, P1 is that one. That is the actual one I've got there. Let's go back over to P2. And I can just turn, so the AI target has now been cancelled because that red marker is showing you that's what it's looking at. And it's doing some very clever zooming there. If we go back to P1, just tap it, you can see it zooms out, and there we are. Now the great thing is you can put this into full auto mode, but if you actually want to, you can actually put it into manual mode. And that's what I've got right now. So we've got the HDR on, we've got the grid on there, we can turn the grid on and off. And then we've also got the ISO, the rate it's recording, so we've got 1/60, and we've got the EV there. Now it's a little bit dark in this room, got some lights on, but they're not on full. And then we've also got our white balance here, and we can adjust the temperature of the white balance in the app. But you can put it back into auto mode, and then it will just make the decision for you. So we've got gesture controls here, and you can see you can turn certain gesture controls on and off. So if you do something by accident, you can then say, well, I don't want that to be on, which is quite good. The built-in mic obviously could be the default. You've got audio settings there, so you can see that it's bouncing up and down. We can do noise reduction, automatic gain is on. You've got face auto exposure. You can also ISO upper and lower limits. So you can change the ISO and say, well, don't go beyond this or this, which is really clever because it means that it's not going to suddenly blow out the camera sensor, and you can save that. So the output right now is on UVC mode. Obviously, if I turn that off, it's going to stop recording on my Mac. But the other options you've got is you've got NDI mode and you've got RTSP mode as well, and you've got media settings. I've got an NDI account, so therefore my NDI is activated on this. And you've got general settings as well, so you can say power on shoot mode. So as soon as it powers on, it'll just start filming if you've got a micro SD card inside. That's really clever and really handy, certainly if you're out and about. The status light underneath is like a little bar, and you can obviously say what the brightness is. So if you want to turn the brightness up or down, it's up to you. And then because we've actually got it plugged in by USB-C, you can plug it in, and then as soon as you plug it in, it'll turn on. Now, if you're familiar with the Obsbot range, I actually did a video about its little brother, which is this one, which is called the Tiny. This is the Tiny 4K. I did one about the Tiny original one. And I'm just going to do a shot of the Tiny next door to the Tail Air. And you'll soon realize how much more sensor and how bigger the camera is for this on the Tail Air. And if you want to take things to the next level with this camera, you can also get a 360-degree charge base, which will extend the life of the Obsbot to over 7 hours via battery, and you can achieve 360 degrees, so it'll actually turn the camera around itself. The other thing you can buy is ND filters. So if you're using it outdoors or you've got changing lighting conditions, this is what people use for cameras to get that really nice, steady, persistent look. Now, why on a music channel am I talking about a camera? Maybe you want to create your own music videos and you want that extra sort of tracking that you can get. Now, you can go out and buy a digital SLR, but then you're going to need extra things like a gimbal to track you, and some of those gimbals for digital SLRs can get really expensive. As I'm filming this right now, you can actually get this on Indiegogo at a discount. The standard kit is $598, but you can actually get it for $478. That's way cheaper than any digital SLR, and you're getting all these AI advancements, all those live streaming capabilities. This could be the only camera you ever need. So this camera that's smaller than the size of a Coke can, I think this is fabulous to the point where I've actually replaced it as my main camera for live streaming. And you may have even seen 1 or 2 videos on my channel, and this has been the main camera, and my digital SLR is now my top-down camera. I'd like to thank Obsbot for sending this out to me. There are links in the description box if you want to go and pick it up through Indiegogo, and I've also put the link up for their main website. And all I would say is if you're looking for taking live streaming to the next level, and then we want to do something like this, then of course we can just move around, and it's not your phone inside a gimbal. It's something that's independent, something that's actually dedicated to do a really, really good job. Then this is it. Now, if you want to have a look at the Obsbot Tiny, they now do the Tiny 2. If you want to have a look at the very first gen that I did a video on for here, really nice small camera, then have a look at this video right here.